Hello everyone, this is Rob Pache with FXCM and DailyFX.com, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar where we will take a behind-the-scenes look at opening up a real FXCM account and showing you all of the things available to you once you are open with a real account as far as education and resources. I want to start off though with a quick sound check. I want to make sure everyone in the room is able to hear me. So if you can hear my voice, please type yes into the questions box. That will let me know that everything's working okay on my end and also that I can receive everybody's messages. It's very important that everyone is able to locate the questions box because that is how you are able to communicate with me. And by looking at the responses, looks like most of you have been able to find that and have confirmed that you can hear me. Great. Appreciate that confirmation. While everyone is getting settled into the room, please read through the risk disclosure document that's being shown on the video screen, and also note that the content provided during today's webinar is for educational purposes only and is not intended as a trading recommendation. So I'll give everyone a minute to read through that. I also wanted to let you know that this session is being recorded. Everyone in today's webinar will be receiving a copy of today's presentation by email. You should expect to receive that email a little bit later this evening. It takes me a little time to get that rendered and uploaded onto YouTube. Also, we have our hypothetical trading disclaimer. If at any time we discuss past trades or strategy results from the past, understand that the limitations behind that and the possibility that's prepared with the benefit of hindsight. So I'll give you time to read through that. All right, very good. So the agenda today, what we're going to be covering during today's presentation, we're going to start off with FXCM.com's various resource pages. Then I'll take you on our account management page, which we call My FXCM, where I'll show you how to manage your account, do things like deposits, withdrawals, downloading account statements for tax purposes, things of that nature. And then the more exciting part, which is what we'll do in the second half, is I'll show you all the different resources that are available to you on our research website, DailyFX.com. I am a trading instructor on DailyFX.com. Most of the time I'm teaching strategies and different trading techniques through webinars and articles. I'll be going through that website in depth and show you the different tiers that you can reach depending on your account level and what comes with those different tiers. We have different levels of webinars, different levels of trading courses, and some of you, if you already have a real account, you might be eligible for those courses already for free and might not realize it. And so we'll see about that a little bit later on. And we do have that questions box. It is there for your questions, so if at any time something comes up that you'd like to bring my attention to, go ahead and type that in, and I'll do my best to answer any relevant questions in real time. Parks asks, how might we use this later as a review of today? You might not want to watch it again. That's totally up to you, depending on what you're looking to get out of it. But most of the people that watch these recordings are going to be people that couldn't stay for the entire live session. So if you have to step out of the room for 10 or 15 minutes and you miss something, or maybe you just have to cut out early, you can't stay for the whole time. We'll be here for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You will have that recording you can go back to and catch up on anything that you did miss. All right, so here we are on FXCM.com, probably a website you are all familiar with. If we click on the Advantages tab, if you haven't already done so, you can learn more about FXCM and our execution. You can learn about our history, where we're from, and see where we are going. If we click on the Forex Basics tab, this is going to be good for people that are pretty new to the Forex market. It's going to teach you just that, the basics of the Forex market. So if you're asking questions like, what is Forex? What is it when I buy or sell a currency pair? Why do people trade Forex? If those are the questions you have, this is a great website to read. If you're already familiar with the market, maybe you have trading experience, you can skip over that and probably skip over to our going to skip over to our Services tab. Or excuse me, right here in the Advantages, I want to go look at the platform options. One of the big questions people ask when they get started is, what platforms do we have to offer? The most popular platform that most of our traders use, and I use personally, is the Trading Station desktop. It's going to work on a Windows PC or a Windows laptop, but it is not going to work on a Mac. And that's why the second most popular platform is the Trading Station Web, because this one does run on a Mac. So if you're on a PC, I recommend you go with desktop. If you haven't downloaded that before, it is a free download. You can log in using the same account number and password you're already using. Trading Station Web, though, it runs out of your browser, so that means it works on a Mac. You can use that too, just the same. The platforms look and feel very similar. Most of the changes are going to be with regards to the charts. Now on the bottom, we have the Trading Station Mobile. This is going to work on your different mobile devices like an iPad or an Android tablet. If you have an iPhone or an Android phone, you're able to download apps on each of their respective devices and log in with your trading account. Now understand, you don't have to pick which one you want to use right now. You can actually use all three using the same login and password that we give you. And the same applies for demo accounts. So if you don't have a real account yet, you're using a demo and you like to try out some of these other pieces of software, go ahead and do it. Download the Trading Station Mobile, check out the Trading Station Web. You can log in just fine. You'll see all your positions, all of your orders. It's all a single sign-on system. Next, I want to go over to the Services tab. A lot of people don't realize that FXCM is not just a brokerage. We have a lot of different services available to help out our clients. We have clients from all around the world with different levels of accounts, all from the small guys that maybe start out with a couple thousand up to the really big guys that might have, $1 or $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, institutional traders. So we have services to cater to all of those types. Now, one of my favorite services that we offer is our programming department. If you've read my articles before or you've watched my webinars before, you've probably heard me talk about the benefits of trading automation. All of my trading for the last 3 or 4 years now has been automated. That means I have a system running on a computer that automatically buys and sells currencies based on a set of rules that I've created. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, you don't need to be a programmer to get that started. All you have to do is have the rules of the strategy in mind. You can bring that to our programming department, and they can actually program that for you. So all those rules that you have set out, they'll write a code. You'll have it up running on your computer or on a virtual private server, meaning your computer does not have to stay on at home, and it will run 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So anytime there's a trading opportunity, you'll know that your systems will take it. You don't necessarily have to be there watching it for it to trade. Now, this is a pay-for service. It costs money to get this done, but depending on the level account that you have, whenever you open up a real account, we do offer discounts. Many people that go through programming services have a large enough discount where they actually pay for the entire programming service with that deal. So if you're interested in programming services, I'm actually going to put this link inside the chat box so you can learn a little bit more about that. That chat box should be near the questions box. I think it's going to be just underneath it. Any links that I talk about today will be in that chat box. If you're watching this video on YouTube in a recorded format, you'll see these links inside the show notes beneath the video window. All right, and then we have our resource page where if you want to get into some of the more basics of trading strategy, you can learn that. We have a video library that is, catered towards new traders, not even necessarily new to FX, just new to trading in general. We have a video library for you and also an introduction into our education department, which we call DailyFX. Please understand, this is not the extent of our education. That's actually what we're going to be discussing next, is everything that we have available. This is all going to be catered towards beginners. So what I want to do now is shift focus to DailyFX.com. But before I do that, I told you I would show you what it looks like when you open up a real account. So let me do that real quick. Let me go to log in and go to my FXCM. And this is going to be the first page you go to once you have that account number. So once you've applied, you've been approved, you have your account number and your password, you'll be able to put these in here and be able to log in to your account. So that was myfxcm.com. So on this far left-hand column, this is where you can change your information. So should you ever move, change your email addresses, change banks, maybe you need to update a password. This is the section where you can do all of that. Right here in the funds transfer column, this is where we can deposit funds. So it'll probably be your first stop. Click on deposit funds. You can deposit using a credit or debit card, an ACH deposit, a bank wire, or a paper check. Not a lot of people use the paper check just because it takes so long, so keep that in mind. Most of our deposits are going to be coming through a credit or debit card. But please note, due to changes in the rules, we're going to have to stop accepting credit card deposits at the end of the month, but we will still accept debit card. So if you have a MasterCard or Visa debit card, you'll still be able to make your deposit after this month. Deposits are all going to be free, whether it's a debit card, ACH, or bank wire. But understand, bank wire, if you send this from your bank, they probably will charge you a fee. So do keep that in mind. It's probably the reason why most people choose the debit card, because it is a free option. Now, as far as withdrawals, you can withdraw funds the exact same way that you can deposit funds. So if you deposit using debit card, you can withdraw back to that debit card free of charge. If you deposit using ACH, you can withdraw back using the ACH free of charge. Now, if you want to do a bank wire withdrawal, we can do that. But there is going to be a fee associated with that unless you are a part of our active trader group. If you have $25,000 or more, the bank wire is free. But for everyone else, we do charge a small fee for that bank wire. Park says, no longer credit cards. Is this due to the Swiss situation? No, the timing would make you think that, but we actually heard about this a couple weeks ago, that we weren't going to accept the credit card deposits at the end of the month. January 31st is the last day that you'll be able to do that. You also see this third option, transfer funds. This would only be used if you had multiple FXCM accounts and you wanted to transfer money from one account to another FXCM account. Now you might ask, why would someone want multiple trading accounts? Well, there's a lot of reasons why our traders do it, but some of the more common ones are going to be people that are into trading automation. Like I mentioned I am earlier. I actually have 2 different trading accounts. One is for automated strategies that are running 24 hours a day. And I have my second account where I can place my own discretionary manual trades. I want to keep those separate. I want to be able to see how my automated strategies are doing in one account and then how my manual trades are doing in a second account. Now some traders, even if they're not into trading automation, maybe they have multiple strategies and they want to split up their strategy into different accounts. You can do that too. Opening up a new account is very easy. Once you have one open, you can go to MyFXCM, click on Add a New Account. This will skip the whole, the whole application process. You just tell them what type of account you want, why do you want it. You can even automatically have money transferred from one of your old accounts to the new accounts, so whenever it's set up, it is ready to trade. Des says, so if I deposit funds using a credit card now, then I won't be able to withdraw to that card after this month end. That's actually a really good question, Des, and I haven't seen that question asked before. Real quick, I'm going to send a message out to someone in our operations team, and hopefully we can get an answer in the next few minutes. Let me type this out real quick, and then we'll go on with the presentation. So we'll wait for them to reply back, and I'll let you know when they do. Jay says, can you have multiple accounts under one login? There's actually two different ways that you can set it up. One way would be to create it with a different login. So this would have, you'd have two separate account numbers, two separate logins to log into both accounts. Or you can choose to keep your existing login, but then once you log into the account, it will actually show two accounts on that same platform. So if you were to open up, let's say, the Trading Station desktop like we are now, I have one account with our equity shown here. I would actually have a second account number with my equity down here. So you could have multiple accounts under one login. It just depends on how you want it to be set up. Scott says, do you offer MT4? Yes, so MetaTrader 4, or MT4 for short, is a platform that's not created by FXCM, but we do allow MT4 accounts with FXCM. So if we were to go to, I believe it's our products page, yes, MetaTrader 4. So let me give you the link for MetaTrader 4 if you're interested in that. Okay, and then in the far right, this is where we can print off our account statements. Your account statement will show you the P&L on every trade. So every individual trade will have its own line with its own profit or loss. You also have a statement you can print out called a statement summary. And this is going to summarize your P&L by currency pair. So it doesn't matter how many trades you placed on the euro dollar, it will actually print out euro dollar and the P&L for that pair. And however many pairs you've traded, it'll just have a single line for each of those pairs. Now, the reason why I specify that statement summary is because it's been in my experience that the statement summary is what can be used for tax purposes. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not here to give you tax advice. But if you were to print off this page, this statement summary, and give that to a tax advisor, they would know what to do with it, and they would know how to put this towards your taxes. Forex is taxable in the United States and is taxable in a lot of other countries around the world, but FXCM is not a tax advisor, and we do not give tax advice. So you need to seek outside help to get that done. All right, but once you log into MyFXCM, you have your deposits made, then you are good to go and you are ready to start trading, which is good if you already have a strategy and you know what's going on. You're up and running in no time flat. But for those of you that want to learn more about trading, maybe you're not set on a strategy, we have our research page, DailyFX.com. So let me pull this open. Most of you have probably heard of DailyFX.com. It is the research arm of FXCM, but you haven't. Really glad that you attended today's webinar because there's a lot of great things going on this website. Now you have your main page. This is going to be our headline news page. So big things that hit the wire, they're going to show up here on the top. We have our articles talking about all the data coming out around the world posted here. And then we have our different analyst and trading instructor pieces down below. And we have something for just about everyone, whether you're a technical trader and all you do is trade from the charts. We have our technical analysis page. Or if you're a pure fundamental trader, you just trade news events, you just trade economic data. We do have a page specifically for just Forex market news based on the specific currencies that you are looking to trade. Now, one of our most popular products that we offer on this website, not really products, but most popular media that people use DailyFX for, is going to be our live webinars, which is one of the webinars, what you're attending today. So let me give you the link for our full webinar calendar. I get this question all the time. How can we know, what webinars are coming up before they actually happen? And this is the page where you can do that. So rather than just luckily being on your platform and receiving a message on your screen telling you a webinar is about to start, you can actually plan ahead. See what sessions are coming up, what topics are being talked about, and set these times on your calendar and make sure that you're available to watch those. So if we scroll down, we can see right here, Thursday, January 22nd, Rob Pache teaching real money trading and DailyFX education. So this is one of our free tutorial classes. Any of the events that say they are free, you can attend those right now. Anyone in the public can attend our free events. It's whenever you get into the live client, exclusive, and premium events that you would need special access to attend. But as of right now, everyone can attend those free sessions. Now, to get back to that question earlier, Des had asked about credit card deposits. We submitted a credit card deposit, but then after January 31st, we want to make a withdrawal by credit card. Would we be able to do that? I'm seeing now that yes, you would be able to withdraw back to that credit card if you were to make a deposit with the credit card before the end of the month. But after January 31st, there are no more deposits using credit cards. Debit cards, yes. Credit cards, no. Michael, going back to automation, can you use a programming automated strategy on MirrorTrader? MirrorTrader is going to be a platform that is built for automation, but you're not going to be able to customize the strategies within it. So our programming services would not be able to create a strategy and put it on MirrorTrader for you. MirrorTrader already has a set number of strategies built in. The good thing is those strategies are free, and you can go in and turn those on and begin trading almost immediately. But it will not work for customization. If you want a custom strategy, you'd probably use the Trading Station desktop, or they might be able to make you just a standalone separate application that can run your strategy. It just depends on what type of application you need. Farhan says, how much is the automated service monthly fee? You mean if you had programming services create the strategy for you? It's just a one-time fee. So if they say, we can code this strategy for $800, you'd put down the $800, they would create the program that would run that strategy and then hand that over to you. And then you can do with that strategy whatever you want. So there's no monthly fee for the automated service. It's just a one-time fee. And if you do go with the programming services, the type of contract they have you sign, basically tells you that, your strategy is your own. It is your own intellectual property, and that means that gives you full rights to do whatever you'd like to do with that strategy. So if you had a strategy, you had it programmed through us, and it did really well, and let's say down the road you decide that you want to license it or sell that strategy to other people, it would be your right to do that. And some of our traders in the past have done those type of things. All right, so I showed you the webinar calendar, and then I showed you the different tiers that we have going on. So let me explain how these tiers work. So everyone right now can watch the free events. Now, whenever you open up a FXCM account, you'll be able to attend all the live client events, which is going to be more of our strategy sessions and our trading Q&A. Now, the way that you would attend those webinars, the live client events, is by logging in using your FXCM account number and password. That would give you access to DailyFX Plus. It's a website only available to FXCM traders. If you don't have a real account and you'd like to test out this website, you can sign up for a 2-week trial. I'm going to put a link to this web page, so if you guys want to sign up, you can do that. So there's the DailyFX Plus trial. And let me actually log us in here. All right, so this is the DailyFX Plus page. Now, the webinars that are inside DailyFX Plus for our live clients, those are going to be in the live classroom. I don't think there's a webinar going on right now. There was one a little bit earlier today. I believe it was Trading Elliott Wave with Tyler Yell. But this is where the live classrooms are held. You can ask questions in real time, just like today's webinar, except in these webinars, they're focusing on strategy, they're focusing on trade setups. So it's not the type of education you're getting here where I'm just teaching you about the website. This is where they're actually getting down to trading and talking about what's going on. Now, on top of that, DailyFX Plus, you have access to our trading signals. Some of the strategies I'm using today are actually based off of some of the signals found here. I particularly like the trading signals that use the Speculative Sentiment Index, or the SSI, where we look at how traders are positioned in the market. Let me actually pull up that SSI, which some of our signals use. We show you the ratio of how many traders are buying each currency pair to how many traders are selling each currency pair. So for example, the pound dollars SSI is positive 2.2. That means there's 2.2 traders that have bought the pound dollar for every one person that is sold. If we look at gold, we see the number is negative 2.4. That means there's 2.4 traders that have sold gold for every one person that has bought it. And what we found is when we look at SSI and we look at this sentiment, a lot of time price tends to move in the opposite direction of what sentiment is telling us. So during times where SSI is very negative and most of our retail traders are selling, we typically see price increase during that period of time. And then when sentiment flips, so when it goes from red to green and we have positive SSI, meaning most of our traders are buying, that's usually a time where price begins to decline. So we have this inverse relationship. We use this, we look at this through a contrarian lens. We look to do the opposite of the retail trading crowd. And it's not going to always work. It's not a sure bet. Nothing is. But on a lot of these pairs, you can actually see that inverse correlation very clearly, where you have a long stretch of negative SSI, that's this red in the background, and this huge increase in price, the black line. And then when the SSI flips, we have most people now buying, we see this pair is turning back around. This pair that we're looking at right now is the pound dollar. So we saw a big increase in the pound dollar through the end of 2013, the beginning of 2014, and then midway through the year, we've really seen the pound start falling off. And unfortunately, a lot of our traders are buying during that time. We can use that as an indicator that this price might continue to go down. So a lot of good things happening on DailyFX Plus. Those of you that sign up for that trial in the chat box, you'll have access to all these things for a couple weeks and be able to soak all this in. Daniel says, on the webinar calendar, what time zone are those in? The calendar should be in your local time zone. Let's see. Yes, so events are listed in your local time zone. So it's going to look at your computer's time and it'll match it up with that. I am located in our Dallas office, so right now all of these webinars are being listed in Central Time. But if you were in New York, it would all be Eastern Time. So it automatically changes. Park says, what are these archived for? What has happened? Oh, where are these archived for what has happened recently? If we go and look inside the live classroom, there should be an archive page. Oh, it's right here. So if we click Watch Again, we'll be able to go back. And this is the same window that the live event's normally in. When a live event's not going on, you can go back and watch any of the recorded sessions. I believe it goes back a couple weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, no problem. Thanks for the question. All right, so that was DailyFX Plus. Any FXEM account gets access to that. Now let's talk a little bit about our premium services. All right, so DailyFX 360. This has become very popular over the last few months. DailyFX 360 is a 2-hour on-demand trading course that was created by our trading instructor called James Stanley. He's in New York. You might have seen him on webinars or seen his articles on our website. But what he does during this 2-hour course is he teaches you both technical and fundamental analysis, and teaches you a really neat way that you can blend those together. He's really big on simplicity, which I'm a big fan of. I don't like things to be very complicated. He does a good job at teaching you, what constitutes as market noise and what actually constitutes, real market moving events. So through that 2-hour course, he teaches you both technical and fundamental analysis. And then after you go through that 2-hour course, you then have access to an exclusive webinar on Friday afternoons that you can attend. Only 360 course subscribers get access to that Friday webinar, where he takes the different things he teaches in this course and he applies them to present day. So whenever you're going throughout the week looking for opportunities based on this strategy, then you can go in there Friday afternoons and make sure that you're on track, and then look forward to next week and what's going to be coming down the pipe. Now, to gain access to DailyFX 360, it doesn't cost you anything. You would need a $10,000 account with FXCM. So if you deposit $10,000 or more, make sure you tell your rep, whoever you speak to here at FXCM, you'd like the 360 course, and they'll get you signed up for that. Let me give you the link. He does a little intro video here where he introduces himself and talks about the course, and he'll be able to tell you more in detail of what he covers inside. So there's the link for DailyFX 360. And then our highest level of service is what we call DailyFX On Demand. DailyFX On Demand is going to be 8-hour webinars that are 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday, it's going to be from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Or let me make sure that's right. It recently changed the schedule. Yeah, so it's going to be from the Euro Open to about noon. So that's going to be 4 a.m. to noon Eastern Time is when this is going to air. And there's multiple analysts that are popping in for their 2-hour segments. You can read their bios on what they look for, what opportunities they're trading, and you're essentially looking over the shoulder of these traders, and you're able to ask them anything that you'd like. That's why it's called On Demand, because they are there whenever you need them to be. So if at any time in this 8-hour block you have a question, you can just jump on in, ask your question. They'll be able to pull up any charts on any instruments that you're trading, look at any time frames, and give you their real-time analysis. Another thing that they do very well is cover news events. Had a really big news event over the last week with the Swiss franc, with the big surprise. The floor's gone on Euro Swiss. A ton of those currency pairs come crashing down as the Swiss franc rallies. These guys did a really good job covering that and keeping you in the loop on what was happening minute by minute or second by second. Now, DailyFX On Demand, it is available for $300 a month, or it is free if you have $25,000 in your account. So this is the $25,000 account level, or $300 a month. If you do want to go the paid route, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you could get in for 30 days. If you decide it's not for you, you can get your money back, no big deal. But understand, before you get into DailyFX On Demand, this is going to be more for your professional or semi-professional trader. Someone that is professional or someone that aspires to be is what this service is really for. They don't get that much into the basics in these webinars. You could ask those questions, but most of the things they discuss in there are relatively advanced. I put that DailyFX On Demand link inside the chat box if you want to check that out. All right, so the clock shows it is 3:35 in New York. What I want to do now is open up the chat box to any questions that you have. either about FXCM or our research arm, DailyFX.com. I'll stick around and answer all the questions that you guys got. Michael, he typed in a question, says, I have no sound. Where can I see and hear this later? Let me type out a message for Michael, since if he is not able to hear me, let me type this out. All right, Mary says, for someone new to FXCM, where would you suggest they start for education and training? Well, you could check out a few of the videos on our Forex Basics page. This is probably going to be the best place for you to start if you're brand new, Mary. Once you watched a couple of these videos, you kind of understand, different currencies, what it means to buy or sell, currency pairs. One course that I put together not too long ago, it's called the Forex Fast Track. Let me give you the link for that. So this is a 4-webinar series. They're all recorded here. And in these 4 webinars, I first teach you how to use the trading software, because you got to start with that. You got to know what buttons do what. So I take you through the trading software here in this first webinar. In the second webinar, we talk about the importance of leverage and risk. And this is a topic that is actually very relevant to our current situation. We had a lot of traders last week that were loaded up long the euro Swiss franc, or essentially short the Swiss franc, and whenever that floor was removed, their leverage ended up costing them heavily. Massive losses on a lot of individual traders, a lot of losses on hedge funds as well. Seen a lot of headlines with hedge funds going under due to being over-leveraged, not containing their risk. So in this webinar, we talk about the importance of understanding what leverage is, what type of risks we're actually putting on our trades, and how we can mitigate some of those risks. So that's in Forex Fast Track Part 2. Part 3, I teach you a simple trading strategy. This is going to be using a method, technical analysis from the charts. We're going to be looking at the RSI, and then we're going to be looking at support and resistance levels to figure out where price might be headed to. And that's probably the most popular session that we have, teaching that strategy. And also, there's a free download that's built into this webinar, where it actually helps you calculate how much risk you're putting on each trade and how much money you're looking to gain off each trade. So if you're concerned about doing the math correctly, we actually have a tool that can do that for you, found inside here. And then Forex Fast Track Part 4. This webinar that you're attending right now is kind of what replaced this webinar. You could watch it again, but it'll be a lot of the same information that you saw today. So if you go through those first 3 webinars, you'd probably be set. You'd be much more confident than you are sitting here today. And also, I'm an instructor here myself. If you ever have any questions, you can email me at rob@fxcm.com. rob@fxcm.com. Larry says, what are the new margins on Global 7 for a mini account? New margins, we had a sweep of margin changes that happened yesterday in the late evening. Some of our accounts moving from 0.5% to 1%. Some of our accounts moving from 0.5% to 2%, depending on your account balance. By this weekend, almost all margin requirements will be 2% across the board. But it does vary based on where you're from, what size of account you have. We've sent out emails to all of our FXCM traders what their margin changes will be. And so that would be the best place for you to go, Larry. If you don't see that email, check your junk file. If you still don't see it in there, please give us a call, and we can make sure that we sort that out and explain the changes and how that could affect your account. We're seeing there's been some recent volatility. We have the ECB coming out earlier this morning saying they're going to start their quantitative easing program. Seen the euro fall off some because of that. And then this weekend we have our Greek elections, which could shake up the market quite heavily. We'll just have to see how those elections, how that all boils down. So due to that volatility, we are increasing margin to make sure our clients are more protected during this time. Irvin says, do you have any statistics for the last year of the people if they have won or lost? And let's say, what's the percentage? Now, we do put out statistics. I think all brokers in the United States do about their profit or loss of their traders. We're very upfront in saying that most people that trade this market do lose money. Now, that is the true statistic. Now, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. I want to say it's somewhere maybe between 35 and 40% are winners, which would mean, what would that be, 55 to 60% are, there are 60 to 65% are losing, probably somewhere around there. If you do a search for Forex trading profitability in the United States, you'll be able to see a few links that have that data. I think that was one of the stipulations when regulations came down probably 3 or 4 years ago in the FX realm. That was one of the things, is that U.S. brokers had to publish how many of their traders were profitable versus how many of their traders were unprofitable. Scott says, if I work, do you have a system that issues a daily when to get in and out with a stop and limit and sell or buy in which pair? It sounds like to me you're looking for trading signals, which we do have available inside DailyFX Plus. So if you open up a real account, Scott, you would have access to those trading signals that have signals for buying and selling, and actually have levels for setting your stops and your limits. So that'd be one way that you could go about it. If you don't have a real account and you'd like to test these out in a demo environment, remember you can sign up for a 2-week trial of DailyFX Plus for free. I put that link in the chat box earlier. If you scroll up, you should be able to find it. If you can't, just let me know. Jay says, I don't have a full understanding of margin. Where would I go to learn exactly how it works? All right, so here's a page that talks a little bit more about margin. But I can actually give you a quick demo if you'd like, Jay. Let me pull up my platform. All right, so let's say I go in here to place a trade. Let's say I want to buy the dollar yen. And so I click buy the dollar yen. I'm going to buy it. I think it's going to go up. And when I pick my trade size, this is actually going to be in terms of 1,000. So the base unit size, or the base lot, we call them lots, is going to be 1,000 units. So if I type in 1 lot, that's going to be 1,000 units, or $1,000. If I typed in 2, that would be $2,000. 3 would be $3,000. That's the amount that I would be buying when I put in that amount. Now, depending on how much I'm looking to buy, I'm going to have to set aside a piece of my account to keep that trade open. Now, if you're in the United States, the margin requirement is 2% of the trade size that you're opening. So if I go to open the smallest trade size, which is 1,000, 2% of $1,000 is $20. So I'm going to set aside $20 for this particular trade. So I click OK. The trade is open. And we look at that maintenance margin $20 has been set aside, and I have $8,763 left to open up more trades. So margin, it's very, very small compared to your trade size. It's just the amount of money that has to be set aside while the trade is held open. Jay says, thank you guys, are awesome. No problem, Jay. Appreciate that. Mary says, what does the stop distance must be less than 0 exactly mean when I'm trying to move my stop? Okay. Now, I've seen that message before when you're setting a stop loss for a trade. And basically what it means is your stop loss has to be negative. So whenever you're setting your stop, it has to be a negative amount of pips. So make sure that is negative. That would fix that problem. And then if you're trying to adjust your stop later on, I suppose it would show the same type of message if you try to move it to a level that would actually cause it to execute immediately. See, if I try to put this stop above where the current price is, okay, yeah, it comes up with a different message. Yeah, but it'll still tell you. If you try to submit an order that is incorrect, that would cause execution that you wouldn't intend placing that type of order, it will tell you and stop it from being placed. Yeah, whenever you're placing your trade, though, make sure your stop loss, if it's in pips, that the stop loss is negative and the limit is positive. Mary says the stop is already set as negative and I want to move it to a positive position. That's not a problem. So you could move your stop to positive territory, but for that to be able to work, your trade has to be profitable and you can't set your stop further at a bigger profit than what the trade is at right now in regards to price. So if your trade is $50 in profit, 50 pips in profit, you wouldn't be able to set your stop at plus 60 pips. Right, because that's further than where you're at. You have to make sure it's always below that current price. I know it's kind of difficult when I can't see your screen, so I'm trying to guess at what's occurring. If we're still not able to get it, Mary, right now while we're on the air, you can always give us a call on our toll-free number. We're here 7 days a week, whether trading's open or not. All right, the questions are winding down. So what I want to do is make sure you guys have my email address. So if you have any other questions, you know how to contact me. Again, my email is rob@fxcm.com. And I think that is going to do it. So I want to thank you all for attending today's session. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot. And I look forward to speaking with you again in the future. Until next time, good luck with your trades, and I hope everybody has a great day. Bye now.